Microsoft says this keyboard is ergonomically sound, but my guest today says they forgot something. Ergonomics expert and inventor Alex Charish is here. She's worked with some of the biggest companies in the country. She's going to expose some of the common misconceptions about products that claim they're ergonomically sound but aren't. She also has some helpful ideas about products that actually do work. Pleasure to have you here today, Alex.
Thanks, Gregory.
So, what don't you like about this keyboard?
Well, one of the things I think that's missing is that the mouse is still off to the right side. So if you're a right-handed person, you're going to have a mouse. We'll use this little demonstration here. As everybody knows, there are the home keys. You keep your hand centered here. You have a numeric keypad, which if you're like me, I don't even know what it's for. I've never used one in my whole life.
I think you have to be an accountant to use that, you know.
So that means the mouse is going to be over here. And you end up working, if you're looking at me, and your arm's literally off to the side. And hundreds of people all over the world will tell me they have numbness and tingling. They assume it's carpal tunnel syndrome, it's repetitive motion, but that's right and left hand. You'd have it in both hands. They only get the problem in their right arm. Well, the nerve that ends up in the fingers causing carpal tunnel syndrome actually starts in the neck. So you could actually pinch your nerve in the neck just from holding your arm out. I call it the mouse is off chasing the cheese somewhere because it's nowhere near your body.
So even though the basics of the keyboard are okay, it's just the fact that you have to reach for the mouse undoes the good part about the keyboard, the design.
Yes, I think they've done a great job. They hit many things. They have it in their packaging that an ergonomics expert designed it. I think they missed the mouse part, and it's not adjustable. Whereas the keyboard that I particularly like, the Gold Touch, it's fully adjustable, so you can control the split and the angle, and the entire numeric keypad slides out of the way.
Well, I do like this one a little bit. I'll give this in their favor, that it slopes down, because I've seen a lot of these keyboards that slope up, but this one actually slopes down. And for me, at least, that feels more comfortable. But I'll remember your point about the mouse. I believe you have the other one here, though, that you do like?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see if we can.
So you can just put that one down over there.
Okay.
And what about this one?
We have lots of goodies here.
Okay.
So this is a computer company called Gold Touch. And what I thought was unique is you have this little arm, you open it up like this, and you get control
up here. Okay.
the split and the angle.
But now, if you can control the split, how should the split be? Because what if you don't know what you're... Can you put it in a bad position even though you can control it?
Actually, they put this and designed it so you can't. I saw one keyboard, it was shaped like an accordion. And I thought that was great for your wrists, but it messed with my head because I don't type well. So I spent the whole day like this and my neck was killing me. This you can't do that with.
Okay.
So, you know, and that's one of the things that is great about this. This is what I think is brilliant. The entire numeric keypad is like a puzzle. You just put it off to the side. I don't even use it, and my mouse is here. That means my arm, instead of having your elbow, let's say, here, go like this. Your elbow's out to the side at 45 degrees.
Okay.
You hold that there, you're going to be in absolute agony in a few hours. Bring it all the way into your body, all the way in. Yeah, that's how you get to type with this. It's amazing. When I make the correction, people just go, oh, I feel so much better. And literally within a week or two, they'll start saying the pain's going away, the numbness they can feel in their fingers.
Well, and that brings up a point. Although Microsoft does say this keyboard is ergonomically compliant, and you raise an issue with that, but you say that really there aren't any definite standards for what is ergonomically compliant. Anybody can just slap a label on something and say that it's ergonomically compliant?
Okay, I find that amazing. Yeah, absolutely. A crazy person could stick a label on a product and call it ergonomic.
And there are no crazy people in corporate America.
I saw an ergonomic vibrator, an ad for an ergonomic vibrator. Now, I just wanted to know what would make a vibrator ergonomic. I won't even go there. I'll just go, I don't understand.
So it's really just, there are no federal guidelines. It's just whatever the companies feel that there's something to back up. But in your opinion, now I know you've studied under the person you called the father of ergonomics in the U.S., and I know that you're big on testing and standards. How do you come to the conclusion that something is ergonomically sound? What kind of testing or studying do you do?
Well, first thing is there's medical testing. Just like if you go to a doctor and he says, I think you need your liver taken out, you'd say, well, what test did you do?
I want a second opinion.
Right, exactly. There's EMGs, which are similar to when you get an EKG, you get a readout of your heart. Well, you can read any muscle, see how a product affects the muscle. It's called an EMG, electromyographic readout or study. You can do a nerve conduction velocity test. You can take an X-ray and literally see with some of the products how the bones are displaced.
Because a lot of it very much depends on just the exact positioning of things. That I mean, even slight differences in angles and that sort of thing.
Yes, I mean, so much so that if you took your wrist and grabbed something like this, let's say in tennis, that was the whole thing with tennis elbow, is if you bend your wrist, you're actually decreasing your grasp, or your ability to grab something and hold onto the racket. Your grip strength is reduced by 50 or more %.
I think on your DVD you have the demonstration with a finger.
Yes.
You want to explain that?
Yeah, it's you basically go like this. You take your wrist up and you take your index finger, you squeeze. Squeeze as hard as you can. Try to pull your finger out, nothing happens. And now what you do is you keep your elbow down like that, just curl your wrist as far as you can, and now try to hold onto your finger. You can't.
You're right, it weakens the...
50 to 80, up to 80% grip strength reduction. It's kind of like me driving, the first time I moved here, I drove on for about an hour, 65, 70 miles an hour, and the next thing I noticed that it smelled funny and the emergency brake was on. It's kind of like that. You're defeating the purpose of grasping if your wrist is bent.
Okay.
So
correct positioning on all this stuff. Well, as I say, you work with some of the biggest companies around, and I know you come up with a DVD that a lot of these companies give their employees with different tips and advice for ergonomically sound type of office environments and that sort of thing. We're going to take a little clip from your DVD and see what you came up with.
Okay.
I want to take the time to share something I'm really passionate about. I want to once and for all dispel the myth of repetitive motion or repetitive strain injuries. Now, this myth has been around for a long time, and even the media has jumped on board. The problem is that the term repetitive motion or repetitive strain implies incorrectly that you automatically get an injury from doing something over and over again. If that were true, I would have an injury of the jaw because I talk all day. I would need a jaw sling.
Well, I think I need more than a jaw sling. God knows I talk enough. I need a repetitive motion trauma or something. I don't know. So, but I love the fact, though, that in your DVD and the website and different things, so you bring up some of the just crazy things that are out there. For instance, the dog dish, the ergonomically dog dish. You want to tell us about that?
I thought it was so funny. I went out and bought one. I don't even have a dog. I was fascinated that they have this raised dog dish, which you would think, okay, that's interesting. Well, that's great if your dog's the right height. So this is the ergonomic dog dish. I reach over here. So I bought it, and of course the first thing I did was say I better shop for another ergonomic dog dish because it's not adjustable. And one of the things about anything that's ergonomic, it really has to adjust. I mean, people are 6 feet tall, people are 5 feet tall, or...
And so are dogs.
Right? Well, a Chihuahua would starve.
So, but that's the point, that they're trying to say that if it's the right height for the dog, it's ergonomically sound?
Yeah.
Okay, but your point is, but it's not adjustable and every dog's different, so how can it be? It's ergonomically sound for a few dogs out there, but not for most dogs.
Well, if you take your dog shopping, then you could check it out. But if you don't have your dog, you wouldn't know.
It needs some kind of adjustable legs or something.
Yeah. So I actually found another one that was height adjustable. And it's a big contraption, but, that was better. So I just couldn't bring all the dog dishes with me. My whole field's gone to the dogs, so I don't know.
And let's see, I know another one you mentioned was the baby seats, I believe. What about the baby seats?
These are my passionate things. If you've ever walked in an airport, you see people anywhere. They have a baby and they get the seat. It's the combination. It goes in your car. It's the cradle. You carry that baby everywhere. Now, we think it looks pretty easy, so I would go up to people and say, "Can I lift your baby?" Well, it's heavy. It's a 15, 20-pound baby, and it's a car seat, and you hold it way out from your body. So it's the weight times the distance, and it gets heavier the further away from your body it is.
So I guess their point is it's ergonomically compliant for the baby, or sound for the baby, but it's not for the parent because they've got to carry it around and hold it and all of that.
And I don't even think they looked at the baby. They just said it was ergonomic because they created a handle that was ergonomic.
Oh, because the handle's on it,
yeah,
I see.
they twisted a handle that went from straight to this way, but it's still a 20-pound baby held far away from your body. And every new parent I talk to, first thing they say is, "Okay, I don't sleep and my back went out."
Okay, so that's so much for ergonomically sound on that one.
Right, exactly.
And I know another thing you mentioned with the wrists is some of the pots and pans. You said, I think you've got something over here. Some of these are ergonomically compliant, supposedly.
Yes, well, I mean, we all know pots kind of look like this for what, hundreds of years?
This is your non-compliant pan?
That's just a regular, non-compliant, nothing ergonomic. They don't claim ergonomic anyway.
Okay.
Right.
And that's good because it's not.
Right. But
And the problem is what? That you're holding the wrist like this, it's bent?
yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that has nothing in it. So if I put a couple of rocks in there and made that heavy, you'll notice your wrist will bend this way, or some of us.
My cooking is about that bad, so it might as well be
I was going to say, you don't
rocks,
even know how to
know.
hold the pot.
Cooking?
So
yeah.
that's what happens. I call it only deviation. It doesn't matter. You bend your wrist towards a little finger, and it looks like that. In an X-ray, the bones are out of the straight position. So straight, you couldn't cook. You'd be spilling the pasta all over you.
But so now, what's the right way to do it? How does
Well,
this?
there isn't one yet, but.
What they claim is the right way.
So
Okay.
then I look around, and lo and behold, I swear they're on a bend a handle thing in this country. Everything you'll see I have. They just bent the handle.
So that's one of your pet peeves. They bend the handle and they claim that it's.
They call it ergonomic,
okay.
but it's the same issue. We'll
So
give
it's
you,
the same thing. And
Yeah.
if you put the rock in it again, it just.
right. And if you, like, again, most people will walk in the water and the pasta, and you're walking going, ow.
Oh, is that what you do with it? I wondered.
I had a chef
I just
come,
thought it was a weapon.
I had a chef come up to me, and she found out that I was an ergonomic inventor, and we're at this big awards dinner, and she said, help me. What can I do right now? I can't cook.
Now, I don't know how much I can say about this, but I understand that you have some kind of an invention maybe in the works.
Yes.
Is that right? Can you
Yes.
say anything about that or not?
I could say anything, I just can't show you. No, with actually my mentor, we reinvented cookware, and it's nothing about the pot. I don't know anything about the different materials like you do. I don't cook a lot, but that handle kills me if I do anything. So it's a different handle, and it keeps your wrist straight, and it's adjustable, and it's really comfortable. So.
So
I'm
when
excited.
can we expect to see this on the market? Does it take a while to develop something like that? Or?
It takes quite a whole day. That's a whole nother show on inventing and patenting.
Okay.
But yeah, we're looking for a potential manufacturer, and we hope that we have somebody. So.
All
yeah,
right.
we're
Well,
excited.
good luck with that. Okay. So what else have you got?
And we'll
over
get
here
you a
for
set of
us?
cookware.
Sure. Absolutely. I'll take that. That's one reason I do the show is to get free stuff. You know.
Well, some of the quirky things that I think are funny, and I have this product. It's not mine. A box came from UPS. They said I sent it. It's mine, and it isn't. And I kept returning it. It kept coming back to me, and I think it's because it's ergonomic.
Okay.
Or they claim it is.
It's karma.
This is
It
the-
comes back to you.
This is, now, you ready for this? I told you they bend everything.
Okay.
They actually took a hairdryer and they bent the entire handle, and that's all it is, and they call it ergonomic. And they give you a long, long extension cord, and voila, there it is. They bent it too.
And your point was that this is actually kind of heavy too. Is one thing you pointed out.
It's very heavy.
So-
You hold a hairdryer up like this for a while, I don't care what shape that handle is, your shoulder's killing you. Got a lot of blowout time.
So I guess the best thing would just be if they made it lighter. Would that be the biggest improvement they could make on that one?
Yes, and some of the unique things is somebody actually invented a holder. So you put your hair dry it like this, and it holds your hairdryer for you, and you just stand there and you have your brush, and that makes it really easy.
All right. We'll be back in just a minute with Alex Charish. We are back with ergonomics expert Alex Charish today, exposing some common misconceptions about products that claim they're ergonomically sound but really aren't. So as a guy, I was interested to hear that there's an ergonomically sound wallet, supposedly.
Yes, or so they claim.
So they claim.
I think the only thing about a wallet that would be ergonomic is if it had no money in it. How could you have a wallet and sit on it and claim it's ergonomic?
So what do they claim is, you don't know what they claim is
No,
ergonomic about it?
nothing.
It just looks like a regular wallet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have nothing
And you're
in
saying
it.
if it were empty, then it's light, and so then that's okay to.
And it's
okay.
probably very thin with nothing in it. No money, no credit card. So, because basically.
So the point they're saying is how. Well, see, I put my wallet at the front anyway. I don't put my wallet in the back.
Most people would put
But you're
their
saying you'd be
wallet
lopsided.
in the back, which is actually underneath them, and they sit on it.
Oh.
And so it's the sitting on it that actually pinches the sciatic nerve, and that's where a lot of people just would put it in the front. But you'll notice if you do next time, you'll watch, it's hard to sit with your hips bent at 90 degrees with a wallet there. So no money, no
Well,
credit
ever since I
cards?
heard about pickpockets, I've never put it in the back. So and today I haven't even got one with me. So what else? I think you've got scrubbers over here. I don't work with scrubbers much, but
I happen to just, I go around the stores and I think, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. There are scrubbers galore, and everyone has a different bend. And of course, I clean, and I like cleaning, so I went out there and I started grabbing the handle. It's great if you stand here and demo it like this. But if you go and use this on the floor, it's the same as the pots. Your wrist is bent. So this one is actually, try this. You'll notice this is actually awkward for me. I have a little hand compared to you. It's not comfortable. Now you're scrubbing.
Just the mere thought of scrubbing is enough to scare me.
Yes, so here's another one.
Okay, so just we got the whole bent thing going
Yeah.
on again.
So
Okay.
I'll
so
call it
just
the
bend
bend
it and it's-
technology.
Okay, and oh, and this one.
And these are
okay.
reputable companies. I'm not sure. I mean,
So you need all of these to clean the bathroom? Is that it? God.
I want a little cleaning crazy.
I've been using a maid, so I guess that's what they use. Okay.
I mean, again, you would have to have a legitimate reason to design a tool so that the wrist is straight. You have maximum force capabilities. There's got to be a reason to bend it. Years ago, somebody bent a handle and then said he was disproving E equals MC squared, so I decided to not trust the bend handle theme too much.
Disprove relativity and.
Right, so I mean,
Okay.
you're giving the scrubbers back to me. That's a hint.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
I think I've seen enough of those for today. And what about the tweezers? I have to admit, I think these look cool.
Oh, fabulous design.
I like them, but what do they actually do?
Beats me. There's never a tweeze
Is it
there.
for eyebrows? Is that what you? But
They bent
something
the
is. They
handle.
bent the handle. Okay, so we got the bent handle thing going again. Actually, you said though it's kind of bad because it's hard when you press on it.
Well, if you're like most people, you'll grab it in the middle there, and if you squeeze right there and just put some pressure, you'll notice now your finger is being put in the middle where there's space. So I have two parts of metal that are digging into my finger. And that doesn't make sense. If they were going to bend it for a reason, that would imply that when you're tweezing, you actually bend your wrist, which nobody does anyway. You just pluck. So I don't see anything on the packaging. You know, I look. If it says ergonomic, I want to know who designed it, where's the research.
And what's this one? Oh, this is the package for this.
Ergonomic tweezer.
But it doesn't tell.
Yes.
Because I think that keyboard actually told, right?
Microsoft, I will say, it's the only keyboard that actually put on their packaging. They have, I think, 8 points that they make. They tell you why they did them. As I said, I think they did a good job. They just missed that position of the mouse and adjustability.
Okay.
But this.
But they
doesn't
do
say
look
anything.
cool, though.
Yes.
You like the way they look. Do you like the way those look?
Yes, we'll give
Very
them out
nice
to
way those
somebody. I was fascinated.
And what about the scissors? Okay, are these are ergonomically sound too? Supposedly?
No, the scissors are not. But I will say that one of my pet peeves is packaging. You know, ergonomics to me is synonymous with user-friendly,
Right.
comfortable. You don't hurt, you don't have pain. Have you ever opened plastic packaging and wrestled with it?
That is definitely a pet peeve of mine. I mean, most packages are terrible. I mean, as a guy, I have a hard time opening the packages. I mean, when you buy, I try to. Everything. I mean, the one thing that's gotten better, I noticed, with batteries now lately. There's some brands, I think maybe Duracell or something, but you pull the strip and they actually open. But everything else, it was like they were afraid you were going to open it when you took it home, and it's. Yeah, I don't know how people open those packages.
Well, I bought some samples. The one that hurt. I mean, this one. I mean, you could
Yeah.
sit here and cut
Oh,
this.
this is dirty. Okay.
Yeah, because it looked like it had the perforation,
yeah.
like you
So this-
talked about. And so some of them, yeah, so this one does, but you still have to cut. Now try some of the other ones you'd be cutting
Okay.
on the side.
So this one we'll give them credit for because they do have the tear.
Yes, this
But
is the new-
otherwise, I know I've
Right.
done this. I'm standing here like this, and
This
I'm
is
trying to
brand
go
new.
brand
This
new.
brand new. They never had this. I think I got cut twice. I had one time in a hotel. It was midnight. I just wanted to brush my teeth. I bought the toothbrush. I struggled and struggled. Finally. So
Ergonomic
now
toothbrush.
I think enough people complain. Look, it's perforated in the back.
Oh.
I bought all sorts of good things.
Okay, well, I'm going to brush my teeth here for a minute. We're going to take a
See?
commercial. We'll be right back with ergonomics expert Alex Charish. We're back with ergonomics expert Alex Charish today, talking about some of the misconceptions about products that claim they're ergonomically compliant. Okay, so I guess the toothbrush, what makes this ergonomic is just the fact that it was the package, right? It's not the toothbrush itself.
Yes, and they haven't said anything about that. It's just
Okay.
that, you know, we certainly as users and consumers, we want not to be hurt when we use something, and that packaging had to be changed. So
It's the Superman toothbrush. It must be good
I
for
know.
you, right? Okay, the thing I was excited about, though, I was thinking about you. I told you I just got back from Florida recently, and I had the pain in the ear thing going on. I mean, I have no problem with flying. I love traveling and all that. but every once in a while I do get that pain in the ears. And this is a product you said actually does work.
Oh, thank goodness it does. I couldn't fly without it. Years ago, I had a cold. I did one of those dainty things where you hold your nose and squeak. I don't know if you ever saw somebody do that. And I burst a blood vessel right on the plane.
Wow.
So I ended up finding these. This is, somebody invented this, called an ear plane instead of the airplane, which I thought was really brilliant. And you just put it in your ear, and I'll open it up because I know you're going to want these.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
promise. They have two sizes, children's and adults. And it has a hole in the earplug. It's not for sound. You can talk, and a bead. And when you fly and there's pressure, it releases out your ears, and you'll hear squeak.
So these are the earplugs. And they're different just from like those solid earplugs that I've seen that you put in. And
Yes.
that's what you like about them. So, okay.
Well, that's for sound. This is for releasing the pressure, and that's why
so
there's
this
a hole.
is solely for the sound.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And they work.
Look at the picture. It shows a man holding his head. Yeah.
Because I usually do the whole, you know, I'm doing everything I can to relieve the pressure. So these, but you said these are actually too big for you. You had to use the little ones?
Yeah, I use
so,
the little ones.
So you have to really get the benefit, you have to make sure you get the right size ones.
Yes, absolutely. And you could check if you're not sure. You can, you know, usually most of the time you could just try a pair. If not, you'll find somebody that will say, "Oh, thank you. It's a great gift."
I'm definitely going to keep these.
Okay, here's the box. We'll give you that.
I'm not even going to hand these back.
Here's a little tube you can store
Thank
them
you.
in.
I love the freebies. I got it. Now, something else that I thought was really cool, you had those knee pads, I think, right? Can you show us those knee
Yes, I
pads?
have several things with knees. This is something that I thought was unique. I actually found this years ago, and I recommend it for anybody doing gardening. And lo and behold, catchers caught on. It's called a knee seat or a knee saver. You strap it on the back of your calf,
Okay.
and all you do is walk around. And then when you want to kneel, instead of kneeling down, you actually create an instant seat. Now, the beauty of that is when you bend all the way down, the strain is on your knee to get back up. The moment your hips drop below your knee level, it's more strain on your knees. So this keeps your hips above your knee level.
And you're supposed to have two of them, obviously.
No, you actually...
Just
can,
one?
Yeah, you can just use one. A lot of people kneel on one knee, so it's perfect. I think catchers may use two, but gardening, one's perfect.
And do you have that other, the knee pad too?
Yeah.
That
I know, you
foam
like
thing?
this one too.
Yeah, that one was comfortable.
Not giving
I
it
actually
up.
tried that in the office.
I kid around and I tell people, you know, you put this on, you can walk a half a mile on your knees. There's a gel insert. And, you know, you think about, well, why really need that? Gardening, housework, yard work, carpentry, all
Rough day
sorts
at the
of
office.
things. Yeah, holiday, you know, seasons, you're
Am I
wrapping.
getting this on right here?
Actually, we'll go like this because the name will go up.
Okay.
And you'll put it on like that.
Okay.
You'll strap that Velcro. And then the one back there.
All right.
And so now, if you were to get off the chair and kneel, it is
I'm ready
like
to crawl away here.
floating on clouds. Yes. And people say it's the one thing they notice. My mom used to get water on her knee all the time. Yeah, if you spend a lot of time on your knees, then that's very common.
So this will prevent all that. It was very comfortable.
Yeah.
You said what, you could walk like a
Yeah.
mile in it or crawl in a mile in it. So, well, I appreciate all these tips today and some of the keyboard things, so I'm going to remember that because my mouse is definitely off to the side pretty far. So I'm going to have to address my mouse when I get back to the office. So, well, this is ergonomics expert Alex Charish. Thank you for being here today, Alex. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time. So actually, no.
Walk away.